make a move and the bunny gets it.
I said, put the bunny back in the box. Why couldn't you put the bunny back in?
It's showtime.
Roar. Roar.
Colonel Ironsides here. 200 years I stood in the gap, fighting those who would harm my country. It was my honor, my sacred duty, so help me God. 9 times they took my life. 9 times I stood back up and made them pay. The freedom fighter and I could handle anything, but someone betrayed me. I was ambushed, made mortal, rendered powerless, and retired. They passed an amendment and made me a civilian before I left the hospital. For 50 years I watched my country change. Watched its work while erasing me from history. The day I quit my job, I powered up and discovered they lied about that too. I'll remind them of freedom. I'll remind them of duty. I'll remind them of their oaths and who they serve. I'll remind them while I'm shoving it down their throats.
Psychically, I'm very well endowed.
I wanna know what you're thinking. There are some things you can't hide. I wanna know what you're feeling. Tell me what's on your mind.
Hey there, everybody. This is Cooper and Telepathic Bunny Comics. Welcome to the Rabbit Hole. Last show of the year. Oh, hold on. I do my own modding. So I have to keep apprised of that. Anyway, let me do something I very rarely do. Just because give people a chance if they want to pop on. So there is the StreamYard's link. And pinned. There we go. Doing my own modding. There you go. Anyway. So 2024 happened. We made it to the end, guys. I think all of us were kind of like worried about what this year was going to be like. We knew that it was going to be one of the most pivotal election years in recent history. And I don't think any of us quite knew the deep muddy we'd have to get through to get to this day. Just a few days away from 2025. It was quite the wild ride, I have to say. President Trump, in particular, had quite the year. Having gone from getting a mugshot to getting shot. Uh, and standing up and doing the most badass American thing that anybody can remember recent history. And all the way to completely, totally turning the Electoral College on its head and putting together an all-star team of incoming cabinet members that may just be the most unique crew that we've seen coming into a incoming administration in recent memory. I can't recall this combination of both entrepreneur and politician and lawyer and activist, and it's like most administrations when they come in, you kind of like it's pretty much the usual suspects, but this one, I don't think anybody has any idea of what it's about, what we're about to be in for. Now I went through and looked through some old streams I did from last year, especially the Breaking Bunnies, and I found a few predictions, but nothing like that I could like put up on the screen. But there was a few predictions I did make that I'm going to like talk about. Was I right? And one of them was that we would come to the end of outrage marketing. Now, what I mean by outrage marketing is basically, hey, does this make you mad? Okay, well, the way that you fight back against it is by backing my product, or backing my movement, or backing my NGO or whatever. Basically outrage marketing had been a reaction to the hostile marketing that had kind of come in around, I don't know, around 2016 is kind of like the date that I remember seeing it really coming in. And that just means that essentially marketing that what you're doing is like fighting against something and has to be supported simply because of who it's against, or who it's going to tick off, or who it's going to upset. And that really kind of came in 2016. And because of that, there was a reaction, an equal opposite reaction to it, which was the culture war marketing. Basically, because I'm fighting against this thing that has cultural power, the only way I'm going to be able to compete is if you give me cultural power enough to compete against it. And so we saw a whole bunch of people use that, kind of ride that to big numbers, big followings, big support. The only problem was as I was predicting, the hostile marketing eventually was going to lose its bite, and it wasn't going to work anymore. And we saw this with the news outlets. People stopped paying attention to them. What's up, Wolf there? What's up, dude? Hey, man, good to see you. That link is live if you want to pop on. But essentially, what happens is that the kind of hostile marketing that we had been seeing has lost its bite, has lost its cultural relevance, and as such, because it's no longer like uh, galvanizing people to follow it or to support it. The marketing that came in as a reaction to it, the culture war marketing, it's losing its power and it's losing its steam as well. And because if you're like saying, support me because I'm fighting against this entity, the news agencies or the mainstream media. And so support me because I'm fighting against the mainstream media. But if the mainstream media is like universally accepted as a joke now, and Rachel Maddow makes some mad cow like pronunciation of Trump being the new permutation of some dangerous whatever. What's the word that they always use? Just dangerous leader, basically. What is the word they always use? Sorry, just flew out of my head. But anyway, but because, her saying that has no effect, then somebody who's saying that, I'm giving the counter argument against whatever Rachel Maddow was saying. Because of that, support me so I can continue to like fight back against her narrative. Dictator. That's the word they always use, dictator. But because of, nobody's listening to Rachel or nobody's taking her seriously except for a very small group of people located in city centers, then essentially she's lost all of her power. And so the cultural, marketers who are trying to like fight back against that, they have nothing to fight against. They have, then it's like, you got to find a different way of packaging. You have to find a different thing to be your emphasis. And I really honestly, I thought that we're going to see a contraction of this hostile kind of marketing, what they're fighting against, and the reaction to that. But I didn't foresee it shrinking to the degree it has, and to the speed that it has. I always thought that there was going to be a big, swath of America that was going to eat out of the hand of the mainstream media and absorb every Project Mockingbird lie that they were handed. And because of that, I just kind of like assumed that this reality was going to be pretty much something we're having to deal with for at least a little while longer. But it's completely, totally, I think, because of eventually the gaslighting got to be so outlandish. And one of the things that I really saw breaking people loose was the mug shot was one thing, and the really flimsy cases that they were bringing against Trump, and these judges, these corrupt judges, were basically rubber stamping. And it's like, wait a second, why are we like suspending the statute of limitations on sexual assault so you guys can put him in jail? It's like, what's the extent of that? And oh, by the way, all these people started coming out of the woodwork and started basically taking people to court because of that suspension of habeas corpus that they did just to get Trump. And then the real estate thing that they did really put all of real estate in New York City, New York State in jeopardy just to get Trump. And it caused a lot of real estate, like speculators to pull out of New York because they're like, if they'll do this to him, they'll do this to anybody. If they're willing to like torch their whole entire real estate, apparatus just to get one guy. We don't want to trade here. And so there's really no telling how much damage they did to themselves just to get one guy. And they didn't get him. They took their shot and they missed. But the thing about it is when you have all these breathless people saying, "Oh, this is like an incredible case. It's ironclad. It's airtight," and then it's like, so you're saying that Mar-a-Lago is worth $26 million? I think one toilet in Mar-a-Lago is worth $26 million. And so people are like, yeah, I don't think so. Anyway, and because of that, and then Trump standing up after getting shot, and immediately the press tried to do a narrative that it was just a big noise, and he ducked, and it was like some shrapnel hit his ear. It wasn't actually a bullet, And then all the stuff surrounding that kid, that got like completely brushed under, and we're not supposed to think that Trump standing up and doing the fist pump is one of the most badass things we've ever seen. No, it's like he should have told those people to stand down. He shouldn't have. The dude got shot. He got shot. What the hell are you saying? And it just like the narratives just kept falling apart and kept falling apart and kept falling apart, and yet because they're all marching in lockstep, and because they're getting their marching orders from elsewhere, and because they're all saying the same things, everybody that said the same things that were easily disprovable damaged their any accountability or any kind of credibility they had left. And so because of that, it damaged that apparatus like beyond all recognition, all repair. And so you saw basically mainstream media sources going away, and or at least the impact that they have. And because of that, the people who were like depending on them to be there as the boogeyman, they're going to have to figure out a different model. They're going to have to figure out a different model. And so working on that, Dale. Working on that, man. And so my prediction was that the outrage marketing was going to take a hit, and people who depend on outrage marketing, the culture war, are going to have to pivot to something else. They're going to have to legitimately have a product that people want. And they're going to have to stop comparing themselves to these dying entities because they're no longer valid enough to be referenced. Okay, people like Benny Johnson have kind of pivoted away. They don't talk as much about the media narratives anymore, and they're starting to like just do straight up reporting that the mainstream used to. And I'm seeing that with Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson has kind of like pivoted away. Your boy Zach has pivoted to counter outrage marketing. Yeah, in your boy's case, let's just say that you either retire a hero or you hang around long enough to become the villain. And I think, honestly, I think he's on his villain arc right now. I just hate to say it, but I haven't like watched him in a long time. But my friend Jones Longbox still watched him from time to time, and John would just like rant to me about some of the nutty takes that he's having now. But we're going to see this happening more and more often. People like the CG Kings, they kind of pivoted to Eric July away from the mainstream as the mainstream became more and more invalid. But the problem is as Eric July improves his product through hiring writers and editors, and the books that are coming out now are starting to, get up to the quality that he probably should have had at the start, to be honest. But as that quality improves, the CG King guys that have been attacking him or have been in a running war with the Ripaverse people, they're going to have to figure out a different thing. They're going to have to figure out a different, and a lot of people are already getting tired of it. A lot of people are already starting to tune it off and walk away from it. And after a certain amount of after a certain amount of time, and you've seen the numbers really drop off all the way across the board, and Ripa's numbers have dropped too. And it's just financially, people aren't able to support to the levels they have been, and there's a shrinkage that's happening, is taking place. And I knew that I thought that was going to happen, but the speed in which it's happened, I didn't predict. I did predict that it was going to happen. I didn't predict the speed in which it's going to happen. In fact, I would say that the outrage culture war narrative has maybe about 4 more months left before they're just going to have to figure out a new way of doing things. And they're just going to have to figure out a new methodology for galvanizing their fans and organizing their fans around them. Outrage only lasts so long as there's something to be outraged about. And you can't keep tilting at windmills. Eventually, you got to turn away from that, pivot away from that, and start going to a more positive, start aiming towards a more positive place. And if they don't do that, then the deterioration is just going to increase. It's going to speed up. And what we're waiting on is one side or the other to really kind of like get the marketing ear or get the cultural ear and really start taking off. And I think there's a dark horse there that I don't see the Ripaverse. I don't see the CG element covering. And I think that there is a counterculture that is forming, away from that fragment and that fragment. And I think it's forming of people who have never been in the mainstream or don't have the cultural name or in the zeitgeist. And I think it's just going to get more and more powerful. It's going to get more and more organized. And I see a lot of that happening around FMC, Fund My Comic, as Indiegogo shoots itself in the foot, and as Kickstarter gets really heavy with the bands, FMC is just going to get stronger and stronger because FMC is right there at the catbird seat. And so I see something forming around FMC, and I guess this year I think it's going to finally coalesce. Hold on a second. Good time to buy crypto AI agent platforms and frameworks. I agree with that. I agree with that. Luke Stone has some theories along those lines, which I think he's dead on. He's been right about a lot of things so far. I mean, FMC exists. So, yeah, it's probably good advice. I'm actually looking into crypto myself. If I could afford it, I'm going to try to look into doing some crypto myself. So another prediction I made. The dollar is dead. We're all going digital. Well, I don't think it's quite dead yet. But I do think that there's definitely a new if the Fed doesn't get its act straight, I do think that the dollar is definitely going to drop. And that's going to be catastrophic unless we find another way. So basically, another prediction I made last year was that people are going to have to start talking about the content. They've been talking about the mainstreams, tactics that have really damaged comic book shops and things like that. You know, the multiple variants, the complete pursuit of the commodity dollar over the reader dollar, over the people who love the universe and want to read the next story in the universe, or that follow characters. And you know, there was a move last year to talk about, you know, changes that need to happen to the mainstream to continue its survival. But nobody would talk about the content, because the content is not a tactic. The content is a philosophy. And the philosophy has proven to be fatal. And you're seeing this in video games, and you're seeing this in comic books. It's been there for a long time. And you're starting to see this with television and movies. And if there's any kind of taint, any kind of hint of this, the content that we've been getting, the DEI, CRT, you know, Marxist content that we've been getting over the last 10 years. If there's any hint of it, if there's any slight taint to it, there's been a complete backlash against that. You know, in some ways, maybe even too aggressive. There have been some pretty decent projects that you know, there are some female-led projects that aren't woke that have gotten caught up in it. Like one of them, we'll consider last year, Furiosa wasn't really woke as per se, but it got caught up in the backlash against the woke. The media is the message. Yeah, exactly. And so because of that, there's probably going to be, we're probably going to start seeing a real drop off in female-led projects, female character-led projects, and female actress-led projects, to the extent that it's going to be a sausage fest coming probably the next 2 or 3 years. We're going to see a complete, total pivot away so far from anything that had that message tank to it, that it's probably going to go too far in the other direction. And but that's what happens when you push the Overton window too far in one direction. Eventually it swings around. And I think that's the next thing that we're going to see, is a huge backlash against anything that's quote unquote woke, or message, part of the message. And because of that, there are some good projects that are going to get like caught up in it, and this happens every time there's a cultural shift. Some good projects get caught up along with everything else. USA, 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 right? and so I think that we always like tend to gravitate to the extremes, right? America's back, baby. Yeah, right. Well, we all tend to gravitate to the extremes, just like 2016 caused a lot of people to lose their shit and go and because of the Me Too aggression that happened, where women essentially used that that like edict that they were given, that mandate, and they took control of all society and took control of all cultural outlets, and as soon as they got control of it, because of female emotionality, basically everything shifted to the political outlet, or the political philosophies that these women had. And men, when men have a certain kind of ability to distance themselves from their emotions and distance themselves from their philosophies and go for whatever is financially viable. They can go cold hearted, and they can be think more along the lines of physical responsibility, but women, that's not a concern for them. The physical responsibility is not as important to them as what their emotions tell them, and what their philosophies are. And so you got like Kathleen Kennedy, who obviously, if she wasn't a female, would have course corrected by now. And things like Acolyte would have never seen the light of day because it was clearly a turkey. I mean, they rewrote that thing. And the money just threw money at it. And basically when it came out, it was a turkey. And but because she decided that the showrunner needed to be the Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant. I mean, why would you do that? Obviously this is the Me Too ghoul, the big bad guy of Me Too. By the way, he's already out of jail. They let him out of jail. So Me Too didn't really have a long-term effect. But when hold on a second. You remember when homophobe and racism was all eliminated in the 90s, and then all of a sudden post-Occupy America, they were rampant again, according to the media? Yeah. Yep. All that was pretty much, I reached the point where it was no longer, on the tip of everybody's tongue. It was no longer like even an afterthought for a lot of people. And then, and basically that caused them to lose cultural power. And the only way they have cultural power is if they have a Marxist underclass that they can manipulate and be the advocate for. And so that's why all that stuff had to come back. It had to come back because like I said, the negativity is the most powerful tool that they have in their arsenal. But the negativity is basically wearing out. It's going away. Classic Marxism, right? Well, so outrage marketing is going to have to go away, and there's going to be a backlash against the woke, the woke materials. There's going to be a backlash against it, to where It's people go scorched earth. Things are going to be put out, and immediately, if there's any kind of like woke taint to it, it's going to be immediately just absolutely buried. And that's coming very shortly. Another prediction. Last year, one of my predictions was that because of the financial realities that crowdfunding was going to shrink. It was going to shrink, and because of that, it was going to be all the money is going to be concentrated to very few people, and the people who really are kind of like on the edges of it, we're going to have to we're going to be damaged by this. And I've seen a lot of my friends, a lot of people who have properties that are under 10K, basically have to call it quits, have to walk away from things. I've seen people like have to fulfill things through like all of their personal savings. And one of my friends put a book out in Australia, and the way he got around the Australian post, the money that it takes to mail things from in Australia, was he basically had a concern here in America, not only produce the books, but distribute them. And but he had this bright idea that he wanted to create a movement for his book in Australia. And so anybody in Australia that backed his book got his book postage free. But he didn't realize that when the postage came into Australia, that it was going to be like really, really high. And so it completely, totally ate up all the money that he made off the book. And he's pretty much had to shelf his next book because of it, and very depressing for him. But that's just the reality right now. Hold on a second. Dicey, yep. For people who write, draw, and letter enough time to do so, the ride continues, right? Also little China, right? Australia is a little China, yeah. Now, this is the prediction. This is the prediction. I think the biggest growth in crowdfunding is going to come from that very group of people. And the reason I say that is because most of these people are blue collar, and the blue collar part of America is about to get an influx of finances and to a level that we haven't seen post World War II. And all of the tariffs and things like that Trump is planning on levying is going to bring a whole ton of this stuff back to stateside. And with the deportation of the people who have been like occupying a lot of these jobs that would ordinarily go to Americans that are born here, there is going to be an increase in well-paying jobs that is going to be available for this group of people that have been just really suffering the last few years. And that and the tax cuts that are coming, and that and some of the changes that are going to be made is really going to create this bubble of basically people with a lot more money this year than they had last year, and a lot more disposable income. And so you're going to see a lot of these books are going to, you're going to see a lot of these books produced at a higher quality, at a higher level. And I think that as FMC expands and as more people go to FMC and take a look at these under 10K books And all these people that are stuck on Indiegogo and Kickstarter, as their market share shrinks and people start going to FMC, I think there's going to be a huge run on these books that of put out by people who have never sniffed the mainstream, and there are absolutely brand new voices that have never been heard. And I've predicted this the last 4 or 5 years, but this is the year I think it's finally going to happen. Okay. AI is democratizing creativity in regard to YouTube. Yeah, I agree with that. Economy will be humming. And, I have my good friend Luke predicts 18 months for things to turn around and get established, but I think it's going to be sooner than that. I think I'm predicting 4 months. And the reason why is because of the artificial suppression that all the numbers that we're looking at right now are the numbers that have been used to cover up the Bidenomics, the Biden numbers. And so basically, as Trump comes in, there's going to be a whole bunch of people that are going to try to tank those numbers. And so as things turn around, you're going to see a change in the demographics and then in the numbers that we're getting back. That's going to just make your head spin. And as the mainstream dies and goes away, you're going to lose the apparatus that was being used to suppress those numbers. And so you're going to start seeing things real time. And all these economists that have been lying to America, they're going to be on platforms that nobody watches anymore. And so I expect to see a really huge turnaround. And I think it's going to happen a lot faster than people think. Curious to see how Chuck Dixon's new comic on Kickstarter does since it has AI art. Yeah, I've been paying attention to that too. I'm not sure AI art is there yet. I think there's still a stigma attached to it, so it's going to be interesting to see how that sells. I do think that some people are going to use AI art for like a lot of bashing out the interior pages, and then they're going to go back digitally and maybe fix the AI mistakes, which is what Chuck Dixon's comic's going to be about. And I think he is ahead of the curve on that, but I don't know that they're exactly there yet. Okay, I'm into AI and crypto pretty heavily right now. I can easily launch a persona AI agent. You choose everything you would create in comic book character, for example. You enter their bio and lore. Gotcha. I have used Grok to do some character sketches for me, and I've definitely gotten some stuff back that I've been able to use. And so I have. Indeed, I've been definitely using AI assets already. So I think that's just going to grow more and more as we go. I don't think it's going to take place of artists. There are some artists that are just always going to be so special. Like Jose Garcia. AI is never going to imitate Jose Garcia. And it's live on Twitter and grows and remembers interactions. Yeah, it's getting there. When that place in like Georgia cranks up, I don't know what it's called, but there's a huge like memory bank or memory sale that's gonna be come online in through X. It's going to be in like Georgia, I think. As soon as that comes online, we're going to see some shit, I think. So there's really no way of telling. But anyway, I do think that some of the predictions I made last year have come true. I think predicted some things, and I was surprised at the extent my predictions like came true. And I do think that as we go, I do think he's right about the AI. I do think he's right about the crypto. I think all that stuff is going to definitely increase in importance. And I think that writers in particular have a evening of the ground that's coming. And that's going to really help them put out products faster than the artist counterparts. And I don't know to the extent that that's what the quality is going to be or the extent of it, but I do think that writers are going to be even more important because while art is increasing in leaps and bounds, AI writing, creative writing has not kept pace. And I think that writers still are going to be important for the next few years at least. And maybe it will never catch up. I don't know. I'd like to think that writing is a important art. As a writer, I guess I'm a little bit biased. But anyway, so that is pretty much 2024. It was best of times. It was the worst of times. Sometimes within the same news cycle. On a second, there's a 23-year-old anime cat, Ruri, that streams and interacts with audience and remembers them. It's a goal to build enough money for self-sufficiency, launching other agents to join them. Well, I have to keep an eye on that. It'd be nice to do an AI bunny rabbit. Maybe this channel would grow if you had an AI bunny rabbit here instead of me. Anyway, but you're stuck with me for time being. But to be honest, people pay to interact with her. Yeah, that sounds a little bit like Twitch. Sounds a little twitchy. Basically, one of the things that I'm going to say that's true of this year coming up, that wasn't true of last year, is I'm here for authenticity. I appreciate it. But I really honestly don't know where we're going. I've said this several streams now. There are paradigms that have been true my whole entire life that are gone. Just completely gone. There are realities that we have yet to truly see the scope of. And I don't think anybody that predicts what's coming next is going to be, yes, it's like Twitch. Yep, there you go. I don't think anybody that is going to be truthful to you is going to be able to predict what this incoming administration is going to be able to accomplish, or what they're going to change, or just what the next big move is. I had to about the Tao. Life is what it is, right? Adopt the Tao. Yeah. And I honestly think that we're in brand new territory here. We're in territory that nobody has traversed before, nobody has seen before. And I think by this time next year, this world is going to be so different from what it is right now that nobody is going to have predicted any of this stuff, because there just is no frame of reference. There really is no frame of reference. Craziest time to be alive, absolutely. And I don't know what's coming. I don't know. I see some trends that I think are going to continue and maybe pick up speed. But for the most part, I'm as clueless as anybody else. I don't know that I'm going to continue what's next into the new year. I still haven't figured out. It's up to 46. I usually let it get to about 30, and then I start thinking about a new show because I try to like turn over my product. But it's at 46, and my call-in shows at like 36, and so it's getting to be about time for me to come up with new shows. So just keep an eye on that in the new year. But right now, for now, still be doing the what's next and Monday call in, and cryptids and conspiracies. I don't know if we'll be doing anything this weekend. The guys kind of took off on me, but either way, keep an eye on that for the new year. The rabbit hole's not going to be different. It's going to be entirely different at the end of next year than it is right now. We're at 588 as of this morning. Moving in on 600, and thank you all for joining, and hoping to get back on track with some things. Last few months have been really stressful, and I've let some things go, but hopefully I'm going to get back on the horse and ride it. But thank you all for coming tonight. Mr. W.E. Patsy was here. Wolf Leader was here earlier. Del A. And for all of you out there who didn't comment, I felt you out. I saw the number, so I know you were out there somewhere. And I appreciate everybody for coming. Just keep an eye on this space. And I'm going to try to continue to be relevant as much as I can be, as anybody can be. But buckle up. It's going to be a ride. Whatever's happening is going to happen fast. And I say 4 months. I say it's about 4 months you're going to see some shit. It's going to be hit 88 miles per hour, and you're going to see some shit. So other people... Let's say AI can automate any repeating task for you. Yeah, well, I'll have to look into it. Right now, I don't have the resources, so hopefully, whatever it is going to be cheap. So anyway, yeah. But just keep watching under the space, and we're going to still talk about what is and what will be, and try to be positive about what's coming down. And we will see you. Bird flu. Yep. And many are free. Well, I'm hoping so. But that's been Coop for Telepathic Bunny Comics. Y'all enjoy your Christmas holiday. And you enjoy that new year. And I may see you before then or may not. I don't know. It depends on if the parkours are around. But we'll find out. But anyway, that's been good for Telepathic Bunny Comics. I'll see you next time. Follow the White Rabbit. Bye.